Pregame.com.
Nebraska at Penn State. Nebraska opened a 2-point favorite early in the week. Total 43. It's now as high as 4. Fours that were out there. Sharp money came in, took it. Hovering around 3.5. But I think the square shops especially will go back up to 4 because this game's attracting a lot of money. And bottom line, I said we have to cover this game because everyone's talking about it. And I don't want to get into the Sandusky. I mean, that's been covered enough. My opinion, throw him in Gen Pop, lock him up, give him to them for a week and a half. He'll get what is deserved. But I'm talking about betting sports. And I really think there's a lot of value on Penn State. Back in the Golden Nugget, opened this game Nebraska -1. Last week, if you looked at what the Hilton had in their games of the year, they had Penn State -1. Now all of a sudden, we're seeing a huge adjustment. It opened Nebraska 2, gone to 3, 3.5, 4, slowly but surely climbing up there. What I've been told is this. There's 2 times more money bet right now on this game than Oregon-Stanford, which is the marquee game of the week, you know? And 90% of that action is being written on Nebraska. Now, obviously, we know the sharps get down early, you know, but and public bets late. But I think this is one of those cases where everyone and their mother knew this line's going to keep climbing, and bettors are more sophisticated nowadays. You know, so much information readily available. They know to get down when a line's going to move. And I think a lot of that money was public money, and I don't think it's sharp money. 2 weeks ago, I took advantage of motivation, momentum, call it what you will, with Louisville. Syracuse was going in. Louisville was coming off a game where their defensive player just had a career-ending injury. Fortunately, the kid wasn't paralyzed, but it was career-ending. Then they showed up that game, and they really played for that player, and it showed on the field. Rarely in sports can we be 100% certain that a team may be extra motivated. You know, I mean, we all try to handicap data, figures, information, statistics, but at the end of the day, if you could handicap motivation and really zero in on it and know for sure, I think you could gain a bigger edge. And I think in this spot, you're going to get a big effort as far as motivation goes by Penn State. This is huge for them to show up and really play good football with all that's going on. I mean, I know it's some pressure from the students, you know, the alumni, the city, the town, but when you go out there on the football field for 60 minutes, you get a chance to escape all that. And I think we're going to get a great effort by Penn State. And this team's for real. I had them on my overvalued list, excuse me. I put out top 10 overvalued, undervalued list. I had Penn State overvalued. And I believe their 2-6 and 1 ATS record reflects that they're overvalued this season. They're 8-1, but they're, 2-6 and 1 ATS. So they've been overvalued. But I think in this spot, because of what's happened, you're getting them in an undervalued position, and this will probably be one of the few times that I think it's worth stepping up to the plate and betting Penn State.
If you've noticed, I didn't even write up any notes on this game. Normally we talk about this team stops this, they're good in this role.
Right.
This all comes down to motivation. The Nebraska players, I don't know if it's the players, the coaching staff has already talked about what's going to happen to their fans when they come here, because they've seen what has happened after the firing in the streets, there's rioting, that kind of thing. They're concerned about the safety of their fans. Now, the players, these are all big, brawny guys. I'm not so sure they're living in fear in this situation. But if they don't, and Nebraska travels very well, if Nebraska can't bring fans to this game, you know every Penn State fan out there is going to want to say, I was at that game. So they're going to have an even bigger home field advantage is what they've ever had before. And when you take a look at teams in the past that have gone through, and you talk players, life or death situations, coaches being fired, they all seem to rally around for one game. This is one game playing at home, and the game somewhat overshadows the situation.
I agree.
And I hate to even talk about that, but if they do play the game, and who knows if they'll cancel it or not because of the situation. I don't think it's going to happen, but if they do play the game, even though my number comes off is Nebraska 3.5, basically where the line is, this home field advantage for Penn State is bigger in this game than any other game that I can remember, and it's something you cannot handicap based on numbers, based on this team can run on this team. It's all coming down to emotion. And if you read that their team is doing something special, or the players on the team have quotes that this is something that is extra meaningful for them, you can't play this game with Nebraska. I don't care what your line is.
I agree.
And
I'm surprised so much money's coming in on Nebraska. But I guess we approach it differently, in our world than the recreational bettor, the guy watching ESPN. They're seeing a team that's, all this turmoil surrounding them. So they're looking to fade them. We're looking at it as this is motivation. This is what fires teams up. This is the final home game for the seniors. It was going to be a whiteout game where the fans all wear white, and the students were really excited about this game. And now they went and they asked alumni and whoever's in charge if they could make it a blue out, where they all wear blue for something about the kids. But anyway, to make a long story short, this was going to be a big game, home game for them before all this broke out. Now that this has broken out, I agree with you. Home field edge is just shot through the roof. My own number that I turned in for VegasRankings.com, I had home field advantage for Penn State 4.25 for their home field. I think you have to increase that for this game. And with that said, getting 3.5, 4 points with the home team that's that motivated, I just think it screams of value, especially with a team whose defense allows 12 points a game. This is a good team on top of it. It's not like you're hoping they're just going to be motivated and that's why they're going to win. You're getting a quality team, an 8-1 team that may be undervalued in the point spread world, but in the straight up world, they're a good football team.
Right.
So, getting points, I just think it's way too much. I think the defensive coordinator, Tom Bradley, who's a Penn State lifer, is going to be able to step right in, rally the troops. I don't think it's going to be a drop-off. It's not like Joe Paterno has really been the head coach the last 5 years. So I have to take Penn State here.
Do you think it's basically sitting at 3.5 right now? Do you think this will go down? I mean, you always want to capture that key number of 3.
I think I believe that the sharp money is going to come in on Penn State. I think they're going to see the line value and they're going to take it based on that alone. But I think there's going to be so much public money. And again, like I stated, this one's getting more than Stanford, Oregon. And we know public money outweighs sharp money when it comes to marquee games in college and pretty much every game in the NFL. And because of that, they have the power to really force the book's hand into moving numbers. I don't think it's going to get back to that key number of 3. I think it would have to take pretty much every betting syndicate on the planet steaming them heavy to get it back down to 3. I think now that it's up over that key number, it's where it's going to stay.
My only thoughts are I don't think the general public got involved in this. I think there was guys making a legitimate stand on this game when it was 3, betting it up. It was actually 2.5.
And 2.5, yeah, knowing they could even work a middle. I agree.
Like you said, everybody is going to see this and they're going to want a part of it. They've taken it up over 3. They've taken it to 4 in some places. It wouldn't surprise me if it closes below 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Comes back down?
I've talked to a few people. And
there you have. I trust your judgment, and I don't have a feel for this one where the line's going to go because this isn't a situation that I could look back and say this is what happens,
Right.
But I don't think you'll get better than 4. So if you could see 4 out there, take it.
You've got to take the 4. It's not going to go down.
Exactly. It won't go above that. Yeah. So take the 4, and it'll probably 3.5 is good enough for me. That's how I'm looking at this. So that's my pick in this one. Penn State plus the points at home, 3.5. 4s are out there. Grab the 4 now. And don't forget, follow me at Vegas Runner on Twitter. I'll be tweeting live from the Pacquiao Marquez fight at MGM on Saturday night. We'll be back with another college football video. TCU, Boise State. That's a big one.